Have you ever wondered why some people in their 70s and 80s seem to glow with vitality, while others of the same age struggle with their daily routines? The difference often isn't genetics, luck, or expensive treatments. It's actually about the small, seemingly innocent habits we do every single day without thinking. What if I told you that right now, you might be doing 7 things that are quietly stealing years from your life, energy from your days, and joy from your golden years? In this video, I'm going to share 7 daily habits that too many seniors continue without realizing the impact they're having on their longevity, their independence, and their ability to truly thrive in these precious years. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why stopping these habits could be the key to not just living longer, but living with the kind of vitality and grace that makes every day feel like a gift. Welcome to Wisdom After 70. I'm here because I believe that knowledge wrapped in love is one of the most powerful tools we have for creating the kind of later years we truly deserve. If you're watching this, you might be someone who's entered your golden years and wants to make sure you're doing everything possible to protect your health and independence. Or perhaps you're a loving adult child or caregiver who wants to understand how to support someone you care about in making choices that honor their longevity and well-being. Either way, you're exactly where you need to be. And I want you to know that you're not alone in wanting to age with strength, clarity, and joy. The 7 habits I'm about to share aren't dramatic lifestyle overhauls or impossible changes. They're subtle, often comfortable patterns that have somehow become part of our daily routines, but they're quietly working against everything we want for our later years. The beautiful truth is that recognizing these habits and gently shifting away from them can create profound changes in how you feel, how much energy you have, and how confidently you can approach each new day. So take a comfortable breath with me and explore these habits with curiosity, compassion, and the understanding that it's never too late to make changes that honor the life you want to live. The first habit that's silently stealing vitality from so many seniors is something that feels completely natural and comfortable, sitting for long periods without movement breaks. Now, I'm not talking about enjoying a good book in your favorite chair or spending time in peaceful reflection. What I'm describing is the pattern of sitting for hours at a time, day after day, without incorporating gentle movement that keeps your body fluid and strong. You might recognize this as spending entire mornings reading the newspaper, then moving to the kitchen table for a long breakfast, then settling into the living room chair to watch television programs, then sitting at the dining table for lunch, and continuing this cycle throughout the day. It feels restful, it feels comfortable, and our bodies don't immediately protest, so we assume it's harmless. But what's happening during these long periods of stillness is that our circulation is slowing, our muscles are gradually weakening, our joints are becoming stiffer, and our balance, that precious ability that keeps us independent and safe, is slowly deteriorating. The research is clear that prolonged sitting is linked to increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, blood clots, and even depression. But more immediately, it's connected to the kind of physical decline that makes simple activities like getting up from chairs, walking to the mailbox, or navigating stairs feel increasingly difficult. Families often notice this as a gradual change. A parent who used to move easily around the house now seems to struggle getting up from their chair, or someone who used to walk confidently now seems unsteady on their feet. The beautiful news is that this habit is incredibly responsive to gentle changes. Instead of sitting for 3 hours straight, try standing and walking around your home for just 2 or 3 minutes every hour. Instead of watching television from the same chair all evening, consider standing during commercial breaks or moving to different seats throughout your favorite programs. The goal isn't to become an athlete. It's to keep your body gently engaged with life so that movement continues to feel natural and comfortable rather than challenging and frightening. The second daily habit that's working against longevity is one that many seniors don't even realize they've developed. Eating the same limited foods day after day, often choosing convenience and familiarity over the nutrition that our bodies desperately need to maintain strength and health. This pattern often develops so gradually that families don't notice it happening. It might start as someone simplifying their grocery shopping because driving to the store feels more challenging, or because cooking elaborate meals for one or two people feels overwhelming. Slowly, breakfast becomes the same toast and coffee every day, lunch becomes a simple sandwich, and dinner becomes a rotation of 3 or 4 easy meals that require minimal preparation. While this feels manageable and comfortable, what's actually happening is that the body is being deprived of the variety of nutrients it needs to maintain immune function, bone density, muscle mass, cognitive clarity, and the kind of energy that makes daily activities feel enjoyable rather than exhausting. I spoke with a daughter who told me, "I started noticing that every time I visited Mom, she was eating the same things: toast for breakfast, a cheese sandwich for lunch, and maybe some canned soup for dinner." When I asked about it, she said it was just easier, but I could see she was losing weight and seemed more tired than usual. This nutritional monotony often leads to deficiencies that show up as increased susceptibility to illness, slower healing from minor injuries, difficulty maintaining healthy weight, and a general feeling of low energy that gets attributed to just getting older when it's actually quite addressable. The shift away from this habit doesn't require becoming a gourmet cook or completely overhauling eating patterns. It's about gently adding variety and color to meals in ways that feel manageable and enjoyable. Consider adding one new fruit or vegetable to your weekly shopping. Try incorporating different proteins throughout the week. Perhaps fish one day, beans another, eggs on another. If cooking feels overwhelming, explore simple ways to enhance nutrition, like adding frozen vegetables to soups, including nuts or seeds in your daily routine, or asking family members to help with meal preparation that can be portioned and enjoyed throughout the week. The goal is nourishing your body with the variety it craves so that you have the energy and strength to fully engage with life. Before I share the third habit, if you're finding value in this conversation and recognizing patterns that might be affecting your own life or the life of someone you love, would you take a moment to comment the number 3 below? It helps me know that these insights are reaching the hearts and minds that need them, and it reminds you that you're part of a community of people who care deeply about aging with wisdom and vitality. The third daily habit that's quietly undermining the health and longevity of so many seniors is staying indoors day after day, avoiding natural sunlight and fresh air in ways that deprive the body of essential elements it needs to maintain physical and emotional well-being. This habit often develops gradually and for understandable reasons. Perhaps driving feels less comfortable, so errands get consolidated or delegated to others. Maybe weather sensitivity has increased, making it feel easier to stay inside where temperature and conditions are predictable. Or perhaps social activities that used to draw someone outdoors have decreased, removing the natural motivation to leave home regularly. What many people don't realize is that this indoor lifestyle is creating a cascade of physical and emotional changes that significantly impact quality of life and longevity. When we don't get regular exposure to natural sunlight, our bodies can't produce adequate vitamin D, which is essential for bone health, immune function, and mood regulation. Without fresh air and the gentle stimulation of outdoor environments, our respiratory systems don't get the kind of exercise that keeps them strong and efficient. And without the natural mood-lifting effects of sunlight and nature, many seniors find themselves struggling with low energy, sadness, and a general sense that life has become gray and limited. I remember speaking with a gentleman whose family was concerned about his increasing withdrawal and low mood. When we talked about his daily routine, he realized he hadn't been outside for more than a few minutes at a time in several months. I used to walk around the neighborhood every morning, he told me, but then winter came and I got out of the habit. Then spring arrived, but somehow I never started again. The shift away from this habit doesn't require dramatic outdoor adventures or extensive physical activity. It's about finding gentle, comfortable ways to spend time outside that feel safe and enjoyable. This might mean sitting on a porch or patio for 15 minutes each morning with your coffee, taking a short walk around your own yard or neighborhood, or simply opening windows to let fresh air circulate through your living space. If mobility is limited, consider asking family members to help you find comfortable outdoor seating where you can enjoy fresh air and sunlight. If weather is a concern, look for covered areas where you can be outside without exposure to harsh conditions. The goal is reconnecting with the natural world in ways that support your body's need for light, air, and the subtle but profound healing that comes from spending time outside. The fourth habit that's working against longevity is one that affects both physical and emotional health in ways that many seniors don't fully recognize: isolating themselves from regular social contact and meaningful conversations with others. This isolation often happens so gradually that it doesn't feel like a choice at first. Perhaps friends have moved away or passed away, making social circles feel smaller and less vibrant. Maybe health challenges have made it more difficult to participate in activities that used to provide natural social interaction. Or perhaps family members have busy lives, and the regular phone calls and visits that used to punctuate the week have become less frequent. What starts as occasional loneliness slowly becomes a pattern of days or even weeks with minimal meaningful conversation or connection with others. The impact of this social isolation on longevity is profound and well documented. Research consistently shows that seniors who maintain regular social connections live longer, have better cognitive function, lower rates of depression, stronger immune systems, and greater motivation to take care of their physical health. When we spend day after day without engaging conversation, laughter, or the kind of connection that makes us feel seen and valued, our bodies respond as if we're under chronic stress. Inflammation increases, sleep quality decreases, appetite changes, and the motivation to maintain healthy habits often diminishes. I spoke with a woman who realized she hadn't had a real conversation with another person in over a week. "I talk to cashiers when I go shopping," she told me, "and I wave to neighbors, but I can't remember the last time someone asked me how I was really doing or when I had the chance to talk about something that mattered to me." This social isolation creates a cycle that becomes harder to break over time. The less connected we feel, the more difficult it becomes to reach out, and the more isolated we become. The shift away from this habit requires gentle intention and often some creativity, but it doesn't require dramatic social commitments or exhausting activities. Consider reaching out to one person each week, perhaps an old friend, a family member, or even a neighbor you'd like to know better. Explore community activities that match your interests and energy levels, like library programs, senior center activities, or faith community gatherings. If leaving home feels challenging, look into phone programs that connect seniors for regular conversations, or video calling options that can help you maintain relationships with distant family and friends. The goal isn't to become socially busy or overwhelmed, but to ensure that each week includes some moments of genuine connection and conversation that remind you that you're valued, interesting, and not alone in the world. The fifth daily habit that's quietly undermining health and longevity is something that many seniors develop without realizing its cumulative impact: neglecting regular mental stimulation, and learning in ways that allow cognitive abilities to become rusty and underused. This isn't about forgetting where you put your keys or occasionally losing your train of thought. Those are normal experiences at any age. What I'm describing is a pattern of days filled with passive activities that don't challenge the mind or require active thinking, problem solving, or learning. You might recognize this as spending hours each day watching television programs that you don't really follow or care about, or reading the same type of simple material repeatedly without engaging with anything that requires concentration or new thinking. Perhaps it's doing crossword puzzles that have become so routine they no longer provide challenge, or avoiding activities that used to bring intellectual satisfaction because they now feel too difficult or overwhelming. The sixth habit that's working against longevity is one that affects both immediate comfort and long-term health, ignoring or postponing attention to physical discomfort, pain, or changes in how the body feels and functions. This habit often develops from a combination of factors that feel reasonable in the moment but create cumulative problems over time. Perhaps there's a belief that aches and pains are simply inevitable parts of aging that must be endured rather than addressed. Maybe previous experiences with healthcare have felt frustrating or dismissive, leading to reluctance to seek help for new concerns. Or perhaps there's fear that investigating physical changes will lead to bad news or complicated treatments that feel overwhelming. What happens is that minor discomforts that could be easily addressed become major limitations that significantly impact quality of life and independence. That occasional knee pain that could be helped with gentle exercise or proper support becomes chronic pain that limits walking and social activities. The mild dizziness that could be related to medication interactions or blood pressure changes becomes a fall risk that creates fear and further isolation. The gradual changes in vision that could be corrected with updated prescriptions become safety hazards that make driving or reading difficult. I remember speaking with a man whose family was concerned about his increasing reluctance to leave home. When we talked about his daily experience, he mentioned that his back had been bothering him for months, making it uncomfortable to sit in cars or walk for more than a few minutes. "I figured it was just my age," he said, "but I guess I hadn't realized how much it was limiting what I felt like doing." This pattern of ignoring or minimizing physical changes often stems from wanting to maintain independence and not be seen as complaining or needy. But the irony is that addressing small concerns early is exactly what preserves independence and prevents minor issues from becoming major limitations. The shift away from this habit involves developing a different relationship with your body, seeing it as a partner that deserves attention and care rather than something that should be ignored or endured. This means paying attention to changes in how you feel and function, keeping track of symptoms or discomforts that persist or worsen, and having regular conversations with healthcare providers who understand the unique needs of seniors. It means advocating for yourself when something doesn't feel right, seeking second opinions when needed, and understanding that taking care of your physical health is one of the most important investments you can make in your independence and quality of life. And now we come to the seventh and perhaps most insidious daily habit that's working against longevity. Engaging in negative self-talk and limiting beliefs about aging that create a self-fulfilling prophecy of decline and limitation. This habit often feels so natural and justified that many people don't recognize it as a choice that's actively shaping their experience of aging. It shows up as daily thoughts and statements like, "I'm too old for that," "My best years are behind me," "I can't learn new things at my age," "This is just what happens when you get older," or "I don't want to be a burden." While these thoughts might feel realistic or even protective, they actually create a mental environment that limits possibilities, reduces motivation for self-care, and gradually shapes behavior in ways that make feared outcomes more likely to occur. When we consistently tell ourselves that we're too old to try new things, we stop seeking new experiences that could bring joy and stimulation. When we assume that physical decline is inevitable and unchangeable, we stop engaging in activities that could maintain strength and mobility. When we focus on not wanting to be a burden, we often avoid asking for help or support that could actually preserve our independence longer. The research on the power of attitudes and expectations about aging is remarkable. Studies consistently show that people who have positive views of their own aging live longer, maintain better physical and cognitive function, and experience less depression and anxiety. Conversely, those who hold negative stereotypes about aging often experience more rapid decline in the very areas they expect to deteriorate. I spoke with a woman who realized that she had started every day for months by thinking about what she could no longer do, what hurt, or what felt more difficult than it used to be. I was essentially starting each morning by rehearsing my limitations, she told me, and I think it was making me feel more limited than I actually was. This doesn't mean denying real changes or challenges or pretending that aging doesn't involve adjustments and losses. It means approaching those changes with curiosity rather than defeat, focusing on possibilities rather than limitations, and understanding that the story we tell ourselves about our aging significantly influences how we experience it. The shift away from this habit involves gently noticing negative self-talk and consciously choosing more supportive inner dialogue. Instead of, "I'm too old for this," try, "I wonder if there's a way I could adapt this to work for me." Instead of, "My best years are behind me," consider, "I'm curious about what good things might still be ahead." Instead of focusing on what you can no longer do, try celebrating what you can still do and what you're learning about yourself in this stage of life. This isn't about forced positivity or denying difficulties. It's about creating mental habits that support your well-being rather than undermine it. If you've recognized several of these habits in your own daily life or in the life of someone you love, I want you to take a moment to breathe deeply and feel proud of your awareness rather than discouraged by what you've discovered. Recognition is always the first step toward positive change, and the fact that you're here, listening to this conversation, shows that you're committed to aging with intention and wisdom. These 7 habits are not character flaws or inevitable aspects of getting older. They're simply patterns that many of us fall into because they feel comfortable or safe in the moment, even though they work against our long-term health and happiness. The beautiful truth is that each of these habits can be gently shifted with small, consistent changes that honor where you are right now while moving you toward greater vitality and joy. You don't need to transform everything at once or make dramatic lifestyle changes that feel overwhelming or unsustainable. You can start with the habit that feels most manageable to address, make small adjustments that feel comfortable and achievable, and build from there. Remember that every small choice you make toward movement, nutrition, connection, learning, self-care, and positive thinking is an investment in your future self and a gift to the people who love you and want to see you thrive. If this conversation has given you insights that feel valuable or recognition that brings clarity, I'd be honored if you'd share it with others who might benefit from these reminders about aging with intention and wisdom. And please, take a moment to share in the comments below which of these 7 habits resonated most strongly with your experience and perhaps what small change you're inspired to try first. Your words might be exactly what another person needs to hear to feel motivated and supported in their own journey toward healthier, more joyful aging.